Okay, I'm back. So tonight you guys are going to get part 5, 6, and 7. Right now this is part 5, and we're going to call this part Daddy. This is my father, George Carter, my mother, Pearline Carter, my baby brother, George Jr. Me, I was number 1. George was number 2. Cherie was number 3. Angie was number 4. And Beulah was number 5. I know I was 14 in this picture because of, let me go this way, this little one right here. I know my ages by my siblings because they were stair steps. They're literally 19, let me go back this way, 1981, 82, 84, 87. But these 3 were stair steps. So, my dad was born in Danville, Virginia on July 19th. He was the only child. He told me he had 2 siblings. I don't know if they was before or after him because both of them, unfortunately, passed away from SIDS or crib death when they were infants. He moved to Baltimore and to come up here with his cousins, and then he met her, and then they got married. Well, wasn't married with me. They got married when I'm sorry, y'all, I'm still learning. They got married when she was like 5 or 6 months pregnant with my brother George. So that would have been, they got married July of 1981. Because they got married July 18th. My dad's birthday is July 19th. Let me tell you something. I had a lot of trauma block from this part of my life. Not just my dad's story, but the story of being in apostolic, right? And God is just pouring so much into me right now that I'm remembering everything. And I'm at the age of 52. I got menopause brain. I can't remember nothing, okay? Also, I want to say that I did another video for you guys earlier, but God made me take it down because it wasn't right. I was giving hints to who I was talking about because I was getting in my flesh, but God calmed me down. I'm good now. I'm good. I'm going to move the way God tell me to move because he is the one that's guiding and leading me through this. So let's talk about my dad. In this picture, I was working on my second suicide attempt because things were just getting worse and worse in my mind. And you see that smile on my face? It's a lot behind that smile. I've never seen my dad look like this, not wanting to smile. My mom, because she never had this dynamic, she made sure we took pictures every year. She took pictures of us when we were babies, professional, and we always did family pictures. You see how my mother is covered? See how we're covered? Yeah, bondage. Even though my sisters look cute, and my brother and my mom. Y'all look cute. They look cute. So the reason my dad looked like that is because he was actively fighting a crack addiction. My dad was addicted to crack. When my dad passed away in August of 2022, praise God, he was clean for over 40 years. When I explain how he became clean, and if you're in an active addiction, this may not be your story. And please don't stop whatever recovery that God has led you to because of what you're hearing from me. What happened to my dad is not meant for everybody, okay? Because of my circumstances with dealing with my dad during his crack addiction, I can walk into any environment. I don't care what's in there, and I can keep a straight face. Any type of house and any type of, no matter what type of situation a house is in, I can walk in there, I'm telling you. So during this time, back then, you had a lot of functioning addicts, which was my dad. My dad was a functioning addict, meaning that we didn't know and we didn't feel like we were lacking, but oh God, we were. Because she was handling everything. And when I say everything, everything. We lived in my grandmother's house, because that's how you did back then, but my mother was paying all the bills, all of them, okay? We didn't know he wasn't doing anything. My mom was giving him money to give to us, like for lunch money and stuff, to make it look like he was giving it to us because he was feeding his crack addiction. We never knew. He still was taking us to school. He was still taking care of us, cooking us big breakfasts in the morning. One thing now that I look back on it, which was always one of my embarrassments, was the condition of our home. We grew in an awesome neighborhood. Um, Two-parent homes or single-parent homes. It was diverse. It was a great neighborhood where you walked to school. Everybody knew everybody. Every parent knew each other. And I always felt like we had the worst house on the block. Like everybody had beautiful houses, but I always felt like we had the worst house on the block because my dad was very crafty with his hands. He could do anything. I used to go with him when he used to fix houses on his side jobs, and they were immaculate. But he wasn't too much worried about our home during this time because he was actively addicted to crack. So it didn't matter, right? So the way we found out because he was functioning so well is because one day BG&E had knocked at our door. And BG&E only knock at your door for two reasons. One, they're going to service the area, or two, they're going to turn off your lights. They weren't servicing our area. They turned off our lights. So when he knocked at our door, I told my mom, I said, BG, the gas man at the door, because that's how I used to come to the door, like, gas man. I don't know if anybody remember that in Baltimore. And he told us that our BG&E hadn't been paid in 3 months, and our bill was like, no, not 3 months. Our BG&E had been paid in a while, and our bill was like $1,000, which was astronomical back then because BG&E wasn't as high as it is now. And if you're not in Baltimore, that's Baltimore Gas and Electric. So remember I told you he worked nights, she worked days. So this how the rotation went. He would come home, she would have us up and ready for school, and then he would take us to school, keep the youngest child, and drop her off at work. And when he dropped her off at work, if it was payday, they would get the money to pay the bills. Well, when he was getting the money to pay the bills, we didn't have a mortgage. My grandmother's house was paid for. We had taxes, though, which I didn't know nothing about that till I got older. He had gotten so bad that the money she was giving him was going to feed his addiction. So after that happened, they turned our lights off. We didn't know that they had came there before and turned it off, but he was so talented. He turned it back on. They found out, came back, and went up the pole and cut it off. So I don't know how this woman did it. She was crying that day, got on that phone. Our lights was on within 1 hour. 1 hour. I've only seen my dad cry a few times in my life. When my brother died, when my mother died, and when he was dying. Okay? He cried to us that day. He confessed everything to us. I know my siblings don't remember. And he said he would never touch that crack pipe again. And I swear to you, he never touched it again. The only way I can describe this type of healing to you is God. And if you want me to say that, oh yeah, he got saved and he came to church at that time, absolutely not. He did not start. He would come to church here and there, but he didn't start coming to church till my sister Jacqueline was almost 2 years old. And Jacqueline was born in 1991. Jackie was born in 1992. So that's my dad. And as I said, by the time he passed away, he had been clean for over 40 years. During his time on this earth, he ministered to a lot of addicts, prostitutes, and everything to let them know he knew where they was at. He understood. He done took people to rehab. He has taken people in. He was just a great and wonderful man. And we'll talk about him more. I miss you, Daddy. I'm going to take my shower, guys, and then we'll be back for part 6, which will be the car accident. And we're going to talk about Sapphira and that too, which was Ananias's wife.